Hello, welcome to Tim Anderson Horse Training. When I did this video, I recorded audio with the video, and I guess my battery was dead in my microphone, so the audio didn't record. So I'm going to narrate it after the fact. So if you see my voice, my lips moving, and it doesn't match the voice, that's what's going on. This is a 17-year-old Tennessee walking horse that was sent to me to evaluate. The owners had recently bought him, and they just wanted to make sure there was no surprises. Wanted me to put a few rides on him, make sure there wasn't any holes in his training, and relatively safe for what they were going to want to do. And he came in the day before this video was made. That was the first time I had caught him in the pasture after he came to my place. And he came right up to me when I walked in the gate. I was really pleased to see that. And here I'm leading him towards my barns to get him saddled up. He was a little bit pushy, kind of walking out in front of me a little bit. Not real bad. I'd like a horse to lead with his head right at my shoulder, maybe a little bit behind, and he was wanting to get out a little ahead of me. Nothing real bad, but I was asking him to get back just a little bit. So I'm leading him over to my barn. This is going to be the first time that he has ever been in my barn. So I was just going to see what was happening. And he has never been around these horses that are in the barn. He has been able to see them across the pasture, but has never been this close to them, and has never walked into my barn. So I was really pleased. He's alert, looking around, not really scared, just kind of taking things in and looking at the horses and kind of acting like he wanted to make friends. So really pleased with what he's doing so far. Nothing to make me think he was wanted to be bad. I could feel his body as he was walking in. He was a little bit worried, but he wasn't real stiff. Nothing to tell me that he wanted to do anything real bad. And you'll see right here, his ears is kind of flicking around. I really like to see a horse's ears move around. That's a real good indication of what they're paying attention to. He's not locking his ears on any one thing. He's just kind of looking around and taking things in. So I'm going to brush him down, get him ready to put a saddle on and saddle him up. He's got a right hind leg is kind of cocked up, and he seems pretty okay with what's going on. So I like what's happening right here. Now, when I get a horse in like this to evaluate, a lot of people will start from the beginning, do some groundwork, do a little bit of lunging, and that makes sense. But my thinking is, I want the horse to come in, brush off, saddle up, and ride off, and that's the horse that I want to send home. So, in order for me to know that that's what is going home, I need to ask the horse to do that. And I need to know if there are any holes in that process. If I'm going to put a saddle on him and get on him and ride off, and he's used to being lunged, I need to know that. So I'm going to treat him like he's a broke horse. I'll pay attention for any clues that he gives me that there's a problem. But I'm going to treat him like a broke horse and just see what happens. Now, if he was to get real stiff, not want to lead, not want to give his head to me, then that'd be an indicator that there was a hole that I needed to kind of back up and take a look at. But so far, he's done fine. Now I turned him around on my cross ties there just because the light's better when I shoot the camera that direction. Picking his feet out, picking them up. They need to be trimmed, but they look like they have been trimmed regularly. And that back left foot, he kind of picked up kind of quick, but not like he was wanting to kick at me, just like he knew what was going to happen and he was picking it up. And he's kind of like that all the way around. I really like that. I'm not having to really put a lot of effort in picking his feet up. He's holding them up. He's not putting a lot of weight on me and acting like he understands what's happening and is good with it. So I really like what I'm seeing so far. Now, when I saddle him up, I want him to be able to be saddled from either side, whether you throw the saddle pad up on the right or up on the left or either way. So what I'm going to do, just to see what he's comfortable with, I'm going to throw the pad up from one side and the saddle up from the other side, just to see if both sides are equally broke, basically, and just kind of see what happens. If he worries more about one side than the other, then I know that that's something that needs to be worked on. Threw the saddle pad up there from the left, he was fine with it. Throw the saddle up from the right, seems fine with that too. He didn't pin his ears back. He was paying attention and didn't seem worried at all. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing. He's standing still. He's not fidgeting in the cross ties. I don't know that this horse has ever been cross tied. I'm gonna treat him like he has. So far, he acts like he has. So we're gonna go on with that. Now, I don't ever tighten a horse's girth up all at one time while they're tied. It don't matter if it's a young horse or an older horse. I put the girth on, I'll tighten it a little bit, then I'll walk him a little bit, then I'll tighten it some more. Just kind of eliminates making the horse kind of girthy, making him worried about the girth. Now I always snug the girth up and pick the feet up and pull the leg forward. It kind of pulls that skin out from behind the girth and makes the horse a little bit more comfortable. And I noticed I started doing that quite a few years ago. And before I started doing that, occasionally I'd have some trouble with some girth rubs. And once I started pulling their feet forward after I snugged the girth up, I have almost no girth rubs since then. So now I'm leading him in the arena. He's looking around and really seems pretty willing. He's never been in this arena before, he's never seen anything that's in it. I've got some wires set up right there on the left where I run a mechanical cow. I actually have some cows in the pen over to the right. I've got a banner on the opposite side over there. I've got a pen where I feed the cows that has some cow feeders in it and a pond. And there's a lot there for him to look at, a lot for him to worry about. And he's kind of looking around and taking it in, but not really worrying too much about anything. Now, right there, I was just kind of pulling his head around. I wanted to make sure that when I got on and pull the rein a little bit, he was going to follow his rein. I don't want to get on him and not have any steering or any stop or anything. So I just kind of pulled his head around and see how much he was going to respect that bit. And I was really pleased with what I saw there. Now I want to see if he's going to allow me to get on with that mountain block. I don't know if he's ever uh, had a rider get on with a mountain block before or not, but it's not a short horse, and I always like to get on with a mountain block. I'm not young anymore like I used to be, and a little bit easier on my body to use one. So I'm going to use a mountain block almost every time. Now I'm just kind of shaking the saddle a little bit, just kind of watching his expression. I want to make sure that his body's not getting tense, and that when I get on, he's going to act like the broke horse I expect him to be. I just hesitated there just a little bit when I put a little bit of weight in the stirrup just to kind of make sure that he wasn't getting tense and worried. So I swung my leg over and sat down. Pretty pleased with that, and he did walk off before I wanted him to. Not real crazy about that. That's something that really needs to be worked on. But he's not really acting like he wants to be bad. He's just acting like he's used to a rider getting on and walking off and doing something. So we're walking around. I'm just going to walk a few circles, let him kind of take in the scenery. He's never been in that arena. I want to make sure he gives to the bit. He's a little bit stiff right there. He was looking at something. I've got some cows in a pen off to the right. I don't think he's seen them yet at this point. When I did this video, I remember he kind of looked at them hard when he saw them, but I didn't really react too much. Now I'm just kind of walking some circles, pulling him around. He was really worried in the arena. Didn't travel a whole bunch forward, but really his body kept fairly soft. Not really acting like he wanted to buck or do anything bad, just kind of acting a little bit worried about things all around him and wanting to go. This horse is 17 years old. He kind of strikes me as a horse that has been ridden a lot, but maybe has not been hauled much anyplace. Seems pretty broke to the saddle and pretty broke to being ridden, but really not too broke to the scenery. So that's something that needs to be taken note of. Um, he never acted like he wanted to bow up with me or buck or anything like that. Just a little bit worried about moving forward. So I'm just going to pull him around. I'm just trying to get him a little bit more relaxed in my arena so that I can kind of push him out and see what he does. He kind of just walking around there so far. He really was pretty nice at this point, and really was pretty nice all the way through. Just needs to be a little bit more relaxed to new places. I don't think he's been many new places. So back there, all the way in the back, you can see the little pen where I feed the cows and all the feed bins, and there's the banner on that side. Just a lot of stuff for him to take in. And we're walking around some more. He's starting to kind of drop his head and relax, and getting a little bit more comfortable moving around the arena. Now, right here, there's some cows right off to my right. Not too worried about them. And we're just moving a little bit bigger area. Didn't really ask a whole lot of him. I'm not going to ask a lot of him at this ride. I'd like for him to be a little bit more comfortable in the arena. Just, I want to, he's here for me to evaluate and see what he is and what he needs. And he's giving me that answer right now. He's telling me that he's pretty broke to ride, but hasn't seen many new places. So that's what I'm seeing. That's the impression I'm getting. And we'll move around a little bit more and see what happens. Kind of making some big circles to the right. He's taking in everything out of the right eye. I'm gonna make sure that both sides are broke. Make sure he sees everything out of both eyes, the right eye and the left eye. Sometimes a horse can be more skittish on one side than the other, and right now he's not too bad. Asking him to walk out a little bit faster, and it's giving me a little bit, but it's pretty inconsistent. I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. Mainly, he's trying to do what I'm asking him to do, and that's what I want to see. I want to see try. I want him to, even though he is a little bit worried about the new place, I want him to still do what I'm asking him to do. I realized that I did not get a video of me putting the bridle on. I'm not sure how I missed that. But the horse was very willing with bridle, put his head down low, and accepted the bridle really well. Opened his mouth and took the bit without me putting a finger in his mouth or anything. So that was really good. Overall, I've not seen anything about this horse to make me think there's a problem. He seems relatively safe. Mainly, it just seems like he needs to go someplace and get a few miles on him and see some new things. I suspect that where he came from, maybe he's had a lot of riding there, but hasn't been hauled a whole bunch. So that's kind of what my suspicion is. But overall, for the first ride in a new place, I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing. Changing directions here, moving around a little bit to the right, just make sure there's going to the right is the same as going to the left. Just kind of feeling him out, and he's looking around. Right there, he was kind of looking at the cows, and he looked, but he kept walking. That's what I'm wanting to see. I don't mind a horse looking at things. I don't him taking in things. Just want to see that he's still letting me control his speed and direction. I want a horse that looks and is aware of what's around him. So that's it for his first ride, first his evaluation ride. I want to thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos about this horse.